120 minutes, 80,000 people, and the two best teams on the planet locked in a war of nerves. A red card changed everything. A goalkeeper broke a World Cup final record and still lost. A controversial halftime show divided football. And a 39-year-old legend chased one final miracle that never came. But the winner was decided by a substitute who had barely scored all tournament. One swing of his boot in extra time ended a nation's 16-year wait. In this video, we break down the 2026 World Cup final. Spain's tactical control, the red card and refereeing drama, the winning goal, the disallowed equalizer, the shoving matches, and the question hanging over it all, was this the final night of the greatest career football has ever seen? Let us set the stage first, because you need to understand what was on the line. This was the last of 104 matches. 5 weeks of football across 3 countries, 48 teams, the biggest tournament the sport had ever staged. And when the dust settled, the two nations left standing were exactly the two you would have picked on paper. The number 1 ranked team in the world against the number 2. Argentina against Spain. Argentina walked in as the defending champions. They had lifted the trophy in Qatar 4 years earlier, beating France in one of the greatest finals ever played. Now they were chasing history. Win this, and they would become only the 3rd nation in the history of the sport to win back-to-back World Cups. And they had the one man capable of dragging them there. Lionel Messi. 39 years old, playing in his 3rd World Cup final, chasing a 2nd straight title that would have put a bow on the most decorated career football has ever seen. Spain came in from the other direction entirely. The reigning champions of Europe. A team that had not won this trophy since 2010, 16 long years earlier. And they arrived at the final having done something almost nobody does. They had not lost a single match all tournament. Not one. And here is the number that should make you sit up. Across the entire World Cup, across every group game and every knockout round, Spain had conceded exactly 1 goal. 1. Their defense was a locked vault. Their pressing was relentless. And at the heart of it was a 19-year-old who had turned into the most talked-about player on earth, Lamine Yamal. And the roads they took to reach this stage could not have been more different. Argentina got here the way they always seem to get here. On the edge. One knockout drama after another, surviving on nerve and belief and the certainty that Messi would find a way when it mattered. Their semi-final against England was the perfect example. Trailing, running out of time, and then a late surge sparked by Messi and finished off by Lautaro Martinez, dragged them over the line and left an entire nation dreaming again. After that win, Enzo Fernandez had hoisted Messi onto his shoulders while the whole squad danced around him. In that moment, Messi did not look like a man on the edge of retirement. He looked like a man having the time of his life. Spain took the opposite path. No last gasp escapes, no penalty shootout heart attacks, just control. Match after match, they took teams by the throat and squeezed until there was nothing left. They did not need late heroics because they rarely let a game get close enough to need them. Where Argentina lived on the counterpunch in the closing minutes, Spain lived on possession and suffocation. One team was a gambler who kept hitting on 16. The other was the house. And in the end, as it so often does, the house was very hard to beat. So that was the story everyone wanted. The old king against the young pretender. Messi against Yamal. The past against the future, standing on opposite touchlines at MetLife Stadium in New Jersey. The cheapest tickets on the resale market were reportedly going for nearly $10,000. 80,000 packed the stands. And this was not just going to be a football match. It was going to be a spectacle unlike anything the World Cup had ever attempted. We will get to that spectacle, because it caused more arguments than almost anything on the pitch. But first, the football. And the football told a very one-sided story. From the opening whistle, Spain did what Spain does. They took the ball, and they did not give it back. Yamal was into the match inside 4 minutes, forcing Argentina goalkeeper Emiliano Martinez into an early save. Marc Cucurella won corner after corner down the left. Spain pinned the champions deep inside their own half and simply would not let them out. What made it so suffocating was the shape of it. Spain did not just have the ball. They had it in the right places, with the right men. Pedri pulled the strings from deep, dictating tempo, always available, never rushed. Dani Olmo drifted into pockets of space in the middle of the pitch where no Argentine defender wanted to follow him. And out wide, Yamal kept running directly at the Argentina backline, forcing them backward, pinning them in, refusing to let them settle. Every time Argentina did win the ball, Spain swarmed. 3 white shirts around the man in possession before he could even lift his head. Win it, lose it, win it back, over and over. And Argentina had a plan. It was not a pretty plan, but it was a plan. Sit deep, absorb, draw Spain out, and hit them on the counter with the fastest, most dangerous forwards on the planet. Survive to the whistle and trust that in a final, in the chaos of the closing minutes, Messi could conjure something from nothing. It was the plan of a team that believed the final whistle belonged to them, because it had belonged to them so many times before. The problem was that the counter never came. Here is the statistic that defined the first half, and honestly, the entire match. In the first 45 minutes, Argentina did not take a single shot. Not one. They had 0 touches inside the Spanish penalty box. 0. Messi, the man everyone had come to see, the man carrying a nation on his back, registered just 15 touches in the entire first half. Yamal, on the other side, had almost double that. Spain completed nearly 150 more passes. This was not a heavyweight slugfest. This was a boxer backed into the corner, arms up, taking the body shots and praying for the bell. Argentina did have one moment, the best chance of the half, and it fell to the right man. In the 5th minute, Julian Alvarez threaded a ball through for Messi with only the goalkeeper to beat. For a heartbeat, the whole stadium held its breath, but Spain keeper Unai Simon read it perfectly, rushed off his line, and got there first. The moment was gone. And Argentina would not get another one that clean for a very long time. So the first half ended 0-0, Spain dominant, Argentina hanging on. And then came the interval that everyone had been talking about for weeks. Because this was the World Cup final that decided to borrow from the American playbook. For the first time in the history of the tournament, the final had a proper halftime show. Not a quick ceremony. A full-blown NFL-style production dropped right into the middle of the biggest match in world football. The break stretched well past 25 minutes, far longer than the usual 15, as a stage was assembled on the pitch and a lineup of global superstars took over MetLife Stadium. The names were enormous. Shakira, long treated as the unofficial queen of the World Cup, performed the official tournament anthem alongside Nigerian star Burna Boy. The bill also featured the likes of BTS, Justin Bieber, and Coldplay frontman Chris Martin, backed by an orchestra and even a public school choir from Staten Island. Pyrotechnics, a message of unity, the full American spectacle. And the football world split in two. For one camp, this was the future. A celebration, a global party, the World Cup embracing the entertainment machine of its host nation. For the other camp, this was everything wrong with where the sport was heading. Traditionalists argued that a World Cup final does not need a concert bolted onto the middle of it. That the game itself is the show. That making the world's greatest players stand around in the tunnel for nearly half an hour, legs cooling, rhythm broken, so a pop concert could run its course, was madness. Both managers now had to worry about whether that long layoff would affect their teams. In a final, decided by the finest of margins, a 25-minute break is not a small thing. And the spectacle did not stop with the music. Because this final had another guest who guaranteed controversy the moment he arrived. Sitting alongside FIFA President Gianni Infantino was the President of the United States, Donald Trump.